Hello, everyone. So, I received a vision from Jesus, and this is a pretty disturbing vision. So, in the vision, I saw Jesus crying, and I went to comfort him. And then he began to show me the world on fire. And I had a side thought where I remembered a video that a friend sent to me of someone looking at a weather map of the world and showing all places all over the world with fires, some more than others. Jesus then brought me to another place and showed me cups of wrath being poured down all over the earth from Satan, and how the fires represent Satan's rage against God's people and his wreaking havoc and chaos. Another prophet confirmed this by a dream that he had of Satan moving viciously through different countries around the world and causing issues and having many people follow him. Jesus, please shed light to this. Jesus spoke, "My love, my heart is extremely hurting right now. There is so much happening all at once, and no one sees the true manifestation of what's happening. A fierce war has been waged against the earth, and this truly marks how close we're getting to the end of days as you know it. The seasons being extremely hot is a spiritual condition of the world, my love. You've discerned that this summer was worse than the last, and you discerned correctly. The demonic army has grown in huge numbers and have brought the heat from hell into earth. As you know, I waste nothing that is released, whether from me or from Satan, as it is all a part of my will. I've allowed this to wake up those who have been asleep, but there are many who are attracted to the heat, and they stand with Satan and his ideals, and that's why a majority of people on earth will be separated from me, where only a minority will be joined with me in eternity. The fires will increase in the spirit, and so will your prayers, my children. If you are not praying, you will be hit with fire. If you are protected under intercession, you will not feel the fire that Satan has unleashed. There are many organizations birthed from the fires of hell and have administered suffering to my children for many years. They are always created under a guise of deception. Yes, the World Health Organization, FEMA, American Heart Association, American Cancer Association, Planned Parenthood, United Nations. Look closely at the names of these organizations. The deception is in the name. Every name has a meaning, and I am training you to see what is not otherwise seen to the carnal and material eye. There are thousands of organizations that fall in this category, and I watch as millions of souls are captured through these organizations of fire. Many people are killed. Many people are pulled into the depths of heaven when they participate and give all of their faith and trust to these organizations to protect them, when what I give is far more valuable. Many who will be separated from me spent majority, if not all, of their lives after self-preservation, and because of that pursuit, they've given themselves over to the agents of fire. Then at this point, I had another vision. Jesus showed me people literally being consumed from the head to toe willingly by fire, by seeking after ways to preserve their life for as long as possible. Through many means, not limited to experimental injections, medication, bodily practices, demonic meditations, or New Age practices, etc. Jesus continued, Satan isn't creating the havoc on his own, but many of my creation are helping to amplify the damage that's happening all over the world because of the obsession with preserving their lives and escaping death at all costs. They are subjecting themselves to things I never intended for them and are igniting demonic fires in others around them that were kept dormant. My children, pray. Those of you who I have led to intercede, do not waver and slack off. You are needed in these times. As you pray, these fires will be extinguished in many places. Pray for the fires of hell to be extinguished in the earth and in people's hearts. 1 Samuel 15. Pray unceasingly, my children. This is the only way for things to shift in the earth. And that was the end of Jesus' message. So that was a lot. That was a lot. So 2 visions in one message. And Jesus is revealing the plan of the enemy, as he always does. And the fires all over the world is showing Satan's anger. When I first heard this and saw these visions, what I immediately thought was Satan is having a temper tantrum. And it reminded me of little kids, little kids who get really upset because they want something and they can't get their way. So now they're throwing a temper tantrum. And I feel like that's the way I envision Satan doing this, when thinking about him going to different places in the world and he is throwing a whole temper tantrum, stumping around. But because he is a spiritual being, he is wreaking havoc in the spirit. So in the spirit, it looks like fires everywhere. And actually in the natural, it is a lot of places on fire. So think about the places that have been on fire recently. Okay. So he's throwing a temper tantrum because he knows that his time is limited. He knows that he only has so long. So he wants to wreak as much havoc as possible with the time that he has remaining, because the days are getting shorter. Time is speeding up. God has constantly been telling me about how much he is speeding up time. And we see that happening. It's like the days come and go. And it's like, you wake up and then the day is over. And you're wondering, where did time go? God is taking it. And I also have a message later to release on time, where God is revealing why he is speeding up time. What is his purpose for doing that? And it's actually a 2-part message, but I only have part 1 right now, and he's going to reveal the rest of part 2. But in that message, God reveals more about time and why he's speeding it up, because he's been saying this to me for the past maybe couple of years, that he's speeding up time and frazzling the enemy. He's speeding up time because so many things have happened that should not have happened. And so God has to rearrange things. And we know that he exists outside of time as we know it. Okay. So he is revealing the plans of the enemy, and even revealing the different organizations that he calls organizations of fire or agents of fire. And it was shocking, but not shocking with the names that he dropped. Sometimes God will drop names because he wants us to know the truth about what's going on, and he wants us to be leery about these different organizations that maybe a lot of you support. Maybe a lot of you believe that these organizations are doing good work, but God is saying that they are not doing good work. That, those that he named and many thousands of others are doing the work of Satan, and Satan has infiltrated those organizations. He has infiltrated the minds of the people. And why is Satan so easily infiltrating the minds of so many people? We really have to ask ourselves that. And really the answer is, a lot of people have a desire to, preserve their lives, like God is saying in this message. So many people are after self-preservation. So that is a selfish pursuit. When you are after preserving your own life, then you are easily a target for Satan, and he can deceive you so easily because you have a desire to just preserve your life and to ensure that you don't die, or that you live for as long as possible and get everything that you ever wanted in life, become a millionaire or a billionaire, do all of the things that you want to do, travel as much as you want to travel, live your best life. And when we have these desires, we don't recognize that Satan can come in. These are like open doors to where Satan comes in and he infiltrates and warps your mind and warps your thinking. So that is really what God is revealing with this message, is that Satan is doing so much damage, but he's being allowed to do so. So many of God's children are allowing Satan to do the damage that he's doing because they do not want to live the life that God has called them to live. And a lot of the people that Satan has infiltrated is not just worldly people who don't know God. It's also many Christians who Satan has taken into his grasp because they are not living lives of self-denial. They're not counting the costs. They are living in lavish things. They're living lavishly. They are after wealth and power and status and accolade. And none of these things are natures of God's heart. So when we open ourselves up to these things, this is when we can get, you know, taken into the grasp of the enemy. So I pray that this message and these visions will really get you to open your eyes and just ask God to reveal more to you about any hidden motives that you may have to preserve your life, because only God is in control of how long we live and when we die. He's in control of that, and he's also here to guide us closer to his heart and to share with us what we should be doing with the time that we have on earth. So God has a purpose for you. He has a specific purpose that he has set out for you to do. And so when you go against that purpose, even though God allows you to do it with free will, there are consequences that come with that. So we have to be mindful of that. We have to recognize that there are consequences to the decisions that we make, either good consequences or bad. So when you choose to go away from God's plan for your life and purpose for your life, then you are in the domain of Satan. Satan can do whatever he wants with you because you are allowing him to do it, because you're pulling yourself away from God and you're saying, God, I don't want to do what you want. I don't want your will for my life. I want what I want for my life. So when you tell God that, he's like, okay, I'll give you your free will. I will give you over to your desires. But realize that now you have put yourself in a very dangerous position to where Satan can get his hands on you and he can deceive you because you don't have good motives. You don't have a pure heart. And so God is wanting us to have a pure heart. And when we have a pure heart, then we cannot be easily deceived, and we have more discernment, and we know when we need to run away from something that is not in God's will. Okay? So definitely go to prayer about this. Ask God to reveal more to you. As you know, I'm always going to encourage you to go to God and seek him for more discernment, for more revelation. Don't just, take everything that I'm saying, but go to God for yourself. I pray if you learn nothing else from this channel and these videos, that you will learn how to go to God for yourself. Because just like I hear from him, you can hear from him too. I'm no one special. I have not done anything, grand for God to speak through me. But the main thing is just yielding to God and recognizing that you can't go at this life without him, that you need him. You need him just like you need your next breath to keep living. So when you humble yourself and you yield to God and you don't fight him and you don't run from him, then he will speak to you because you are his child. He loves you. He wants to speak to you. He wants to have a relationship with you. He is not the type of God that just wants to stay far away, because he's so powerful and infinite and omnipotent and everything, all of these attributes and characteristics of who he is. Just because he's that doesn't mean he doesn't want to get close to you. So if you are not getting close to God, then you have to say, what is going on the inside of me that is preventing me from being closer to Jesus? What is it? So you really have to ask yourself, these questions, and you really have to sit and just evaluate, why am I not able to hear God? Why can I not, hear what he's telling me and get revelations from him about what's going on around me, what's going on with me, period. He wants to reveal it. He wants to talk to you, but you have to go to him. You have to seek him, and you have to want to seek him. That desire has to be in you, because if it's not there, then he's not going to do anything. If he sees that there's no desire for him in your heart, then he's not going to just open himself up like that. He's just not, and that's why he says in, Jeremiah 29:11, I'm sorry, 29:13, he says that those who seek me wholeheartedly will find me. So he's saying you got to seek. You have to do it. No one else can seek God for you. You have to do it for yourself. Okay, so I pray that through this message and all of these messages that you listen to on this channel and anywhere else that God may lead you to listen to messages, that you will walk away from it with more confidence and more, just motivation to seek God for yourself, so he can speak to you, in the way that he can speak to you, because he may not speak to you the way he speaks to me, and that's okay. We're all individual, and God will reach you the way he knows that you can be reached. So just ask him. Open your heart. All right. Thank you so much for listening to this message. I pray that it encourages you to go closer to God as usual. Thank you, and God bless you.